ओम सर्वधर्मस्थापकस्त्वं सर्वधर्मस्वरूपकः आचार्याणां महाचार्यो रामकृष्णाय ते नमः. By Sri Ramakrishna's grace, we have started yesterday the study of the greatest scripture, or the scripture of scriptures. The original Bengali name being Sri Ramakrishna Leelaprasanga, and the English translation by most revered Swami Jagadananda, which we are following, is called Sri Ramakrishna the Great Master. And yesterday we have seen that how it is the greatest scripture, that in all the scriptures that we study, the experiences or realizations of the rishis comes to us through their words, giving us ideas about God. But in this case, we are finding the same experiences, all of them in a flesh and blood. And because we are more interested in manifesting in our human body and mind the right consciousness, so it is most useful to study how it shines in a human body and mind. And it is called the scripture of scriptures because it is a searchlight under which we can study all the scriptures of the world. And so that is the study we have taken up. We have also seen that when the revered Swami Jagadanji asked Saradananda, why you are not telling about yourself something? He said, have you studied Leelaprasanga? There is nothing there which I have not experienced myself. Now on this point now, let me tell the details of how he used to write. And that also as directly seen by my Guruji, who has seen it firsthand. The desk on which he used to write, even today the desk is there, one can go and see. He used to clean with a cloth so carefully or so devotionally, as much as devotionally we clean any God's photo in the shrine. And olden days, there was no fountain pen even, what to speak of this ball pen. So the old holder and nib, and he used to, after the writing was over, he used to draw out that nib, wash it in water, wipe it and keep it separately. So much careful he was. Careful in the sense it was a devotional action. And then when everything was ready for writing, he used to be absorbed in meditation. And that my Swamiji told me, a minimum of 40 minutes, minimum. And maximum it could go even up to 2.5 hours. And in that meditation, or samadhi, whatever you like to call it, He used to visualize the scene which he wants to write. And when the whole picture came before him, total, then only he used to write. So, a man whose experiences tally with what he is writing, that is the greatest rishi. And he is giving us this scripture. Another point which I told you was about the need of writing and the purpose of writing. That my Swamiji asked Saradananda point blank, Maharaj, why are you writing Leelaprasanga? And he said that so that all the sadhakas of all the denominations in the world may see light in their spiritual path. So it will give us a tremendous light in whatever spiritual path we are taking. Now, with this introduction, I introduced the name also. Yesterday I told you that it is the divine play as Sri Ramakrishna. Divine plays in every age according to the need of the age. It played as Rama, it played as Krishna. It played as Jesus, it played as Buddha. And it is now playing in Sri Ramakrishna. And I told you the importance of this name because Rama in his life shows the ideal life, while Krishna is the ideal teacher, the world teacher. And the combination of these two are in Sri Ramakrishna. And then we get Prasanga means I told some episodes. Because Sardana Swamiji did not in the beginning plan to write the full biography. He just wanted to present some episodes of Sri Ramakrishna's life so that we can get that light. And that he chose to start from what is these days called the third volume, third part, because he wanted to present the personality of Sri Ramakrishna. And then he wrote the other volumes also as commanded by God. So, with this background, we started to read his preface. And we read the first para. I will read it out again. Preface, as the spiritual teacher, this is the third part. I told you this is modified. This is the third part of Sri Ramakrishna, the great master. The events of the master's life from the time, let us correct that, from the time of his sadhana to the time he became well known to the public have been in the main recorded here. I am not telling myself this. Wrong translation. In the 5th chapter of this book, clearly Sardana Swamiji writes that his manifestation of divine Guru Bhav started from the day he was appointed as the priest in Kali temple. And then he says that there is nothing strange in that. A teacher is always a teacher. So, from the time of his sadhana to the time he became well known to the public, when he became well known to the public, that goes beyond his Guru Bhava. Then everybody knows he is God. So that volume we shall read, and that is called the Divya Bhav and Narendranath. We shall see how that name came, but Divya Bhav. When he became well known to the people, hardly we used to feel that he is a man. The full divinity was manifested, and so that is called Divya Bhav. So before that, up to that, sadhana kalin hoite prakat hovar paryanta. So that is the period which Sardana Swamiji has taken up for discussion. As per the need, he has one incident of a childhood and one incident of afterwards on the 1st January he has given. But mostly he has given the incidents of that period when he was doing sadhana. We have not merely recorded the events and activities And we also discussed the name Guru Bhav. This Bhav is not what sadhakas undertake for realizing God, but it is God manifesting as man. So many aspects are there. He is the ideal Guru, he is the ideal divinity, he is the ideal sadhak. So it is that aspect that he is the world teacher that is being discussed here. We have not merely recorded the events and activities of the master at that time, but have also discussed as far as possible, because it is not always possible. His experiences go beyond the purview of anybody, so that is not possible. He has written as much as he could experience, as possible. The moods that prompted, we have seen that it could be better called modes of the mind or the state of the mind. There is some idea in the mind, attitude in the mind, which makes us act in a particular way. So that attitude, same thing can be done in different attitudes. Let me exemplify, then you will understand. We get the news that so and so has donated 1,000 rupees. Now, these days, they donate they create a trust. The big companies, they create a trust and they donate to that trust. Other people, they call the newspapers everywhere, all the media, and then they donate. So the mentality is totally different. Even to the extent that a man donates some thousands of rupees to a widow because he is attached to that. And what Jesus has told, let your left hand not know that your right hand is giving. Now, even there we will find two differences. That some people donate or give donation because they earn merit, punya, for their next life. But some people donate because donation should be made. If you have money, yatha shakti samvivad, that will purify your mind and you will become fit. Yajna dana tapak karma na tyajyamiti chapare. Yajna dana tapak karma pavanani manishina. So it makes your mind pure. So see, with how many different attitudes the Kathopanishad tells us, yatha karma yatha shrutam. As per the action and as per the idea behind, he will get the next birth or whatever fruit. So fruit will not be same in all things, simply by the outside action. So, Sri Ramakrishna is doing something. Saradananda Swamiji has gone deep to understand what is prompting him to do this. What is the idea? What is the mental state? This mood is not a very happy word because it refers to a moody man. But there is a definite attitude, an idea, mode of mind, which makes him do this action. On the other side, what is the result he expects? He does not expect any result. Or, in this case, we shall see in Sri Ramakrishna's case, Saradananda Swami has shown everywhere that any action is almost impossible to explain if we take him as an individual being. But by the results we see that it has benefited the whole world. So the purpose is benefiting the whole world in spiritual life. So that is the purpose. And with that, some attitude, he has given that. Example of donation only I said, but here he says all the actions. We have not merely recorded the events and activities of the master at that time. Events and activities. Events in some other people are engaged, something is happening. But have also discussed as far as possible the moods, the ideas that prompted and the purpose that guided those actions. For the history of the life of a man who is an aggregate of body and mind cannot be had only from a detailed study of his insentient body and its activities. When writing a biography or a history, the materialistic West exhibits its ability mainly in recording events, while the spiritualistic Hindu applies his mind to a careful depiction of the mental functions only. It is our conviction that a true biography or history should be a combination of both, and that the actions of the unconscious body should be recorded with a view to unfolding the history of the mind. Now we come to the next para of the preface. Moreover, we have discussed the extraordinary life of Sri Ramakrishna in the light of the scriptures in many places. You understand the connection? Now his actions are prompted not by attitude like ours. So some scriptural idea is in his mind. The scripture shows the path to God or the life of a Brahman. So it is a continuation. Next para means it's a continuation. That we have discussed the ideas which are prompting. Now these ideas are not ordinary human ideas. They are transcendental. If a man is doing some sadhana, that idea is not an idea of this world. Understood this thing? Moreover, we have discussed the extra, because the life is extraordinary. Straight away stated. It is not of the ordinary level. It is extraordinary. Extra means beyond ordinary. Because the life is beyond ordinary, the attitudes will not be normal human attitudes. And those attitudes could be found only in the scriptures dealing with supersensuous matters. This point understood. Moreover, we have discussed the extraordinary life of Sri Ramakrishna in the light of the scriptures in many places. Then third degree. Another, scriptures cannot describe everything. There is a category called the incarnations of God. They are the creators of scriptures. Studying them, the wishes write scriptures. So, Sri Ramakrishna's life, some actions may be like a good person. Most of the actions will be spiritually backed. And some actions will not find any scriptural idea for that. For that, we must refer to the group of incarnations. If one incarnation does something, we'll call it strange, not for us. But if something is common between many incarnations, though not in the scriptures, then we understand this is something more than extraordinary. So that is the third level. And Saradananda Swamiji's greatness lies in analyzing all the incarnations of the world, all the spiritual ideas of the world, all the scriptures of the world. And so, this is the third type of actions. We have been led to study. That means finding it not possible to explain according to scriptures, they were forced to think of the higher beings. We have been led to study the unique functioning of his mind. Unique. His experiences and activities. Functions of his mind, his experiences and activities in comparison with those of great souls like Krishna, Buddha, Shankara and Chaitanya of India. Different incarnations exhibiting different traits in their life, but they are all incarnations. And Jesus and others of other countries. We are great luck that Saradananda Swamiji knows all the incarnations. The Master said to us in unambiguous language again and again, I think one small word may be missing. Let me keep it open. Perhaps because or some such word will be there. Nothing more. What is before this? Karan. Yes. कारण ठाकुर અમાદિગર નિકટ સ્વર્ટાક્ષરે બારંબાર નિર્દેશ કર્યા છે. He has discussed the incarnations because the master said to us in unambiguous language again and again that the one who in the past became Rama and Krishna is showing his own body in this sheet now. What we call body, he could never say I. This is the sheet in which God is working. And another sentence, and that the spiritual experiences of this have gone beyond those recorded in the Vedas and Vedanta. We have to discuss a little more of this. Because the orthodox Vedanti jump up on it. And they say beyond Nirvikalpa Samadhi there is nothing. How can Thakur go beyond Vedanta? And Thakur himself is telling Veda and Vedanta. And many scholars and sadhakas who saw Thakur have also said it. So, and he has already used the word unique. You understand? Fourth category. Like ordinary man, spiritual, according to scriptures, according to incarnations. But there may be something which is not found in incarnations also. Need of the age. So what are those things? First is intensity, never imagined in any scripture. Never imagined in any incarnations like. Nirvikalpa Samadhi, we understand. Nirvikalpa Samadhi for 6 months. And Nirvikalpa Samadhi more every day. Find out any incarnation. And the effect also. Bhagavan Sri Krishna gave by his own power Vishwarup Darshan to Arjuna. Vishwarup Darshan is hardly Sagumarma. And about Sri Ramakrishna, what Abhidhan Swamiji has said in his Stotra. Sansparsha matrena nirnam samadhi vidaya sadhya Swami Ramakrishna. And if you go by Sri Ramakrishna's own words, with great respect to Abhidhan Swamiji, we can change one word. Instead of Sansparsha, Sankalpa matrena nirnam samadhi vidaya sadhya Swami Ramakrishna. I am talking of this point as intensity, two sides. In his own life and in influence. Now come the variety. One person exhibiting hundreds of things. Nobody has even imagined up till now that the same person, nobody has even got the idea now that I will experience God in various ways. Have you seen any incarnation? And so Vedas are also mentioned. That means infinite, almost variety. And there is a third point. Now we can see some variety in some people, intensity in that variety. Understood that? Intensity, variety, intensity in variety. You have never imagined that a man will become like a monkey because he is doing Hanuman Bhav. Impossible. This is where Sri Ramakrishna has gone beyond Vedas and Vedanta. This is not imagined in Vedanta or Vedas. And then sometimes in finding out the details. When he visited Kashi, when he was still in the boat, he saw that those whose bodies is being burnt on in Manikarnika Ghat, how Shiva is talking in their ears the mantra, and how the mother is releasing all their bonds. When he described it, the scholar said that in Kashi Khanda, we have read that if one gets burnt in Manikarnika Ghat, he gets mukti. But how is never given? How is not given in the book? So gone beyond Vedanta. So all people, nothing is beyond Nirvikal Samadhi. Intensity of realization and capacity to make other people do. Variety, intensity in variety, and finding the details of many things. So the thing becomes unique. But because that means similar things are in other incarnations also. It is not strange then. It is not strange then, it is intensity more, variety more. So you'll find this variety in this incarnation, that variety in that incarnation. But the effect in our mind will be much more. And that is why Saradananda Swamiji could say, I am writing this so that all the sadhakas of all denominations in the world can find light in their life. So it is clear, gone beyond Vedanta and Vedanta. As a matter of fact, in discussing impartially so far as possible. You understand, so far as possible here? That was as far as possible, that is due to the heights. So far as possible, impartially so far as possible. Each word carries a meaning when the Rishi is writing. We will say, you are attached to Sri Ramakrishna. We will say this to Saradananda Swamiji. And so you are writing like this. He is telling impartially as far as possible. That means he is accepting that I take Sri Ramakrishna as my choice. But attempt is to write impartially. This is the point. He never hides anything. As far as possible, the life of Sri Ramakrishna established in Bhavmo, this is a word we are getting first time. Let us complete the sentence first. We have been constrained to confess the language. They say we are led to believe. We are constrained to confess that such an uncommon life in the spiritual world was never seen before. One point important here, both Swami Vivekananda and Swami Saradananda, they both of them never claim that in future there may not be a higher manifestation. If they claim like that, we shall say you are fanatics. Understood? But they are telling a fact that up till now in the history, no Rishi, no incarnation has shown those things with accuracy. So that is a fact for them. And they know all the religions and all the history of all the religions. Otherwise, Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam, others are Amsha Kala Puja. That becomes fanaticism. Nobody higher than that. Up till now, there has been no manifestation higher than that. is a fact. And that also, while trying to impartially observe, we are constrained to confess. Here also, one word is perhaps missing. वास्तविक भावमुख्य अवस्थेत श्रीरामकृष्ण देवर जीवन जतुदूर संभव निरपेक्ष भावे आलोचना करिते अग्रसर हुआ আমাদিগকে বাধ্য হইয়াই স্বীকার করিতে হইয়াছে যে ईदृश अलौकिक जीवन नहीं। I thought বাধ্য হইয়া হ্যাপিলি এরকম ওয়ার্ড আছে কি নেই। Okay, so was never seen before. Now one more point, speciality of that. Again means next point. When we discuss the full implication of the new truth, this truth is new. Namely, as many faiths, so many paths, discovered and proclaimed by him for the benefit of mankind. Discovered. Truth is always there. Truth is eternal. Nobody creates truth. But it is lying under some cover. And if you remove the cover, it is called discover. So he discovered this truth for the benefit of mankind. What is for him? We shall discuss this benefit of mankind also. When he reached perfection in a remarkably short time in all the spiritual practices according to the truths preached by previous incarnations. How he could do it? Because he did everything in a very short time. So he had the time and energy to practice all faiths. He was not a traveler from faith to faith. Some days this, some days that. There are people like that. Strange. They are seeking thrills always. But when he took up something, he never thought of anything else till he completed that. But he completed that quickly. So he took up another. Need of the age, all right. Benefit of mankind. The world has come so close together. Previously, every man was an island. What you are doing in a village in Kerala, the man in Gujarat need not know. Man in Assam does not know. Man in Europe, far away. But now we say, even if you sneeze, it is in the social media immediately. So the world has physically come so close together that the interaction has become absolutely unavoidable. Now this interaction can be either enmity, dvesha, hate or harmony. And ordinarily it becomes hate due to the contracted minds. But in Sri Ramakrishna, same person practiced all and found the truth that all faiths are paths leading to the goal. Mind you, it is not Sarva Dharma Samabhav. That is a political slogan. Faiths are taken as paths. The operative part, the sadhana part of every faith is taken up and the goal is reached. Same goal is reached. Whether you are a Dvaiti or a Vishishta Dvaiti, the operative part is to love God. And by loving God, you will not thus far and no further. You will go ahead and you will find the same truth. One important point about the bhavas of sadhana. Even today, people who do not understand, but at least they should, after Thakur's advent, the jnanis think that bhakti dwells only in Dvaita. And bhaktas themselves think that Dvaita is the final. We are here. Bhavas means enjoying God through that bhava. But Thakur took sadhana of any bhav and showed Advaita. Every bhav. So understand? Jato mat tato pad, as many faiths, so many paths. That is a path. And we have to, in Swamiji's words, arise, awake and stop not till the goal is reached. Saradananda Swamiji has beautifully discussed in Sadhak Bhav that the bhaktas do not know the goal at all in the beginning. They take up some goal and proceed. And when they evolve, the goal also goes on becoming higher and higher. And they think we stop here. That is a different thing. But it never stops. So, it may be in the scriptures, but it was discovered by Thakur. And all the scriptures, nobody has tried up till now. If you go outside India, you would be outcasted. So, who will study Christianity, Buddhism, all religions, and practice that as a faith, as a path, and reach the same goal? So this is a unique feature in Thakur for the benefit of mankind, because otherwise we will quarrel. And we are seeing whatever we call it, terrorism or anything, nothing but heightened fanatism. But Thakur has given the answer. When he reached perfection in a remarkably short time in all the spiritual practices according to the faith preached by previous incarnations, we are inevitably led to accept him as the summation and consummation of all the incarnations who have gone before. Summation and consummation? Summation means combination. If Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has gone by particular bhav, Buddha has gone by another bhav, combined, both are there in him. And consummation. That means if some Mahapurush has reached some point, not beyond that, he has gone beyond. So consummation and summation. Swami Saradananda is telling we are bound to believe like that. We have been constrained to confess. We are inevitably led to accept him as the summation and consummation of all the incarnations we have gone before. Okay? The more we have discussed the one word we have not yet discussed, and that is bhavamukh. It's a new word in the spiritual dictionary of mankind. Some people confuse it with the Chetomukh of Mandukya Upanishad. Anyway, we'll not discuss that. And Saradananda Swamiji has spent 3 chapters to explain that bhava. But as the word has come, we should at least think a little about it. What is bhava here? Bhava changes the meaning every time. Positive existence. It may be gross, sthul, or it may be subtle, sukshma. Understand this point? This table is a bhav. Your sattvic good is a bhav. Your thinking of God as your mother is a bhav. Positive, that means which you feel to be real. Positive existence anywhere in the world is called bhav. And what is mukh? Mukh is not mouth. Gomukh you know. Source. Source. Source of the world. The world consists of infinite bhavas. Subtler and gross. And the source of that is Bhavamukha. And that is Thakur's permanent position. In that Bhavamukha, if he just lifts his mind, goes into Nirvikalpa. He can come down to the sadhak level. He cannot come down to the kamakrodha level at all. But if we are sadhakas, if we are strugglers, he comes to our level, lifts us and goes back to his. So that is the seat where he permanently sits. So Bhavamukha Avasthit, established in Bhavamukha. This is his pedestal. The more we discuss the unprecedented holy life of Sri Ramakrishna, the greater has grown our conviction that is the unique product, that summation and consummation has happened. He is the unique product of the universal and eternal spiritual ideas of the Vedas. He does not give them Hinduism. The word Hindu came to us from the Muslims or the Arabs. You know what is the meaning of the word Hindu? The Arabians cannot pronounce so. So becomes ho. In our country, you know, what we call Assam, they don't call Assam, the Assamese. Ahom, Ahomia, Ahom. So Sindhu made them Hindu. And they found that people living on this side of Sindhu river are unique. There are hundreds of varieties, but their religion is spiritual. So they started calling us Hindus. That is the only meaning. And same, people try to create difference between India and Hindu. When the Yavanas came, Greek people, instead of Sa, they will say Indus Valley civilization. Sindhu Nadi's civilization, they call Indus. So India, Hindu are the same meaning. You cannot change that. But that came much later. So our religion is called Vedic religion. We all believe in the authority of the Vedas. Now, what is Vedas? Vedas themselves are universal. That means it shows the path to different people. Vedas are not one set of ideas. Vedas are infinite. And so it is universal. Universal does not mean everybody accepting one path. That is not universal. Universal means everybody is given a suitable idea. And eternal. Eternal means what? Anadi Ananta. Not some creator. Somebody came and created a religion. It is always there. And if it is always there, it will always be there. Neither beginning nor end. Rishis come and rediscover the truths. Re-establish the truths. But the religion is eternal. Now here, I will tell you some funny thing. So, people say Sanatan Hindu Dharma, Sanatan. Sanatan means unchangingly real, eternal. There is another word, Sanatani, which appears to have been derived from Sanatan. But what is a Sanatani? Means what? They stick to old rules. And Swami Vivekananda said, not changing old rules is one of the main causes of the downfall of our religions. So Sanatani is different. I remember in some place, university debate. The Vice Chancellor of Jadavpur University said, old days are gone, we do not respect the teachers, we do not do this, we do not do that. Old ways are bound to go. In olden days, Buddha's father was a king. The pictures are there, sitting on a throne with a pagadi and all that, and only a cowpin below. Are we going to dress like that? No. So Sanatani, the stitched clothes we are wearing, we are learned from Chinese. But that is the greatness of India. If good ideas come, absorb. So Sanatan does not mean Sanatani. Unchanging truth, varieties of truth, paths. So universal and eternal, Vedic religion, spiritual ideas of the Vedas. He is the unique product of the universe. So from the Vedas only he has come out. Of the universal and eternal spiritual ideas of the Vedas, the totality of their essence. That means Vedic ideas mean don't take the forms. Essence. And essence here, essence there, the totality of their essence. He is the product of the totality of the essence of the universal and eternal spiritual ideas of the Vedas. Okay? Now, here there is no para, but we should have a para here. Up till now, almost a continuity was going on. 2 points. First is that we have discussed the mental attitudes and the purpose also. First point was the duration. Second was that. Third was that very thing. Ordinary humans, scriptures, avatars, unique, and in short time practicing all. So, harmony, up till that we have reached. Now, a new point is coming. I would mark a para here. When the proofreading we do, a Z is marked for para. When the revered Swami Vivekananda had preached Sri Ramakrishna's ideas, the public became eager to know the facts of his life. Many people published many accounts of him, but none of them pointed out clearly the hidden relation, hidden means not on the surface, that existed between that unique life and the Vedic or eternal religion. You understand this point? Consequently, from a study of those books, an impression has grown in the mind of people that Sri Ramakrishna was a man cut off from the tradition of the eternal Hindu religion and has left behind him a particular sectarian doctrine of his creation. I was faced by this, and many of you will be faced with this. In Goa, we were taking meals before my lecture from a, let me tell that, RSS man, devotee. He is telling, don't you feel that Ramakrishna mission has gone astray from the central flow of Hinduism? That was the question. After that, I had 3 lectures in Goa. Our devotees still remember that. That Ramakrishna mission is the real central flow of Hinduism. You have gone astray. If you say Hinduism is true, other religions are not true, you have gone astray from the central idea of Hinduism. Let us call it Hinduism. That means the idea of Hinduism is absorb any good points everywhere. And so, this is what Swami Saradananda is doing. Now why this happens? Because the people have presented him like that. You know, Ramchandra Datta and others, according to their limited concept, they are written like that. So reading these books, an impression comes like that. Nobody has shown the internal relation that all this is according to Hinduism. All this is according to the universal and eternal spiritual ideas of the Vedas. Saradananda Swamiji has not yet used the word Hinduism. Huh? Here he says, cut off from the tradition, it has used now. Cut off from the tradition of the eternal Hindu religion, and has left behind him a particular sectarian doctrine of his creation. One point. So Saradananda Swamiji is required to show that hidden relation. Further, many of those stories contain errors regarding the life history of the master and lack appreciation of the real import of the events of his life. Here, there is a mistake in translation. Second mistake in translation. First I showed in the beginning. Let me show the Bengali here. Sri Ramakrishna Padashrita Pujyapat Swami Vivekananda. Sri Ramakrishna Padashrita Pujyapat Swami Vivekananda धर्म प्रचारेर पर होते श्री रामकृष्ण जीवन कथा जानिबार जन्य साधारण आग्रह देखिया वर्तमान काले अनेक कथा तत्संबंधे लिपिबद्ध करिले हो ओई आलोक सामान्य जीवनेर सहित सनातन हिंदू वा वैदिक that also is not here. सनातन हिंदू वा वैदिक धर्मेर जे निगूढ संबंध रह्या छे ता स्पष्ट निर्देश कर्या एपर्यंत वार अनुशीलन करेन नहीं बोलिले अत्युक्ति होय ना फले श्रीरामकृष्ण देव जेनो सनातन हिंदू धर्म होते विच्छिन्न पृथक एक व्यक्ति एवं सांप्रदायिक मतविशेषरी सृष्टि करिया गया छेन ए रूप विपरीत धारणा वही सकल पुस्तक पाठे मनेत उदित होया था आबार वही सकल ग्रंथेर अनेक गुली ठाकुरेर जीवन आख्यायिका संबंधे नाना भ्रम प्रमाद पूर्ण एवं अपर गुलीते that word is not here. You understand? He is not putting all books together. Most of the books in this category. There are some other books also. He is referring to the gospel of Sri Ramakrishna here. अपर गुलीते कोनो भूल नहीं. अपर गुली is the standard material for Sri Ramakrishna's biography. अपर गुलीते अपर गुलीते दुटो चीज नहीं. वही सकल जीवन घटनार प्रकृत अर्थ एवं पूर्वापर संबंध और पारंपरिक संचित लक्षित है ना. Master has gone mostly by the facts, detailed description, and now and then he has commented upon that. Reflection like, is it like that? Is it like that? So the nigud artha nahi, mainly connection nahi. I am suffered by that. We read gospel and Swami Vivekananda has come and Thakur is talking to Swami Vivekananda. Now that connection will be when Swami Vivekananda comes again. But gospel in the next meeting, Swami Vivekananda is not there. So I don't find the connection. It is no defect, but that is a fact. Master Mahashaya was not concerned with that. He was concerned in presenting the chronological fact. That is a great thing. And Saradananda Swamiji is concerned with showing the internal connections. I give an example. When he brings the topic of Agurmani Devi Gopalarma, he tells her life from beginning to end and then takes up another topic. Where is chronology? No mistake in gospel. So he has separated this totally. Upper Gulite in others. In others means he is not blaming for that error and all that. Upper Gulite. Import bujano haini. No explanation of the import and Purva par sambandha. Here Chetananji's book I referred, he has given others, but this sambandha he could not discuss. He has said something. Chronology nahi, consistency nahi, that is what he says. Purva par sambandha nahi. So, we'll take up the remaining part of the preface day after tomorrow, on Thursday. There is a gap on Wednesday. Om Sarvadharma Sthapakastam Sarvadharma Swarupakaha Acharyanam Mahacharyo Ramakrishnaya Te Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.